so before we run out of time, where can people get more information on this and really keep up with what's going on? Because we've seen Facebook has got rid of fact checking, Twitter has got rid of fact checking. There's so much misinformation coming out, disinformation. We've got the press secretary who apparently now can just pick the media that they want to have the press conferences. I don't know how many people saw that earlier, but they announced that they will now be having podcasters, bloggers, conspiracy theorists be in the White House press corps. So it's very difficult to discern what the actual information is and how exactly we can address it. Where can people get accurate information from, and what can people do to fight back? I think that's the biggest concern folks have.
Sure. I put out a paper or...
Good morning, guys. I blew out my hair yesterday, and my daughter texted me and was like, Mom, can you take me to the store? I need to get a dress for the school dance. And I'm like, what? Okay. So, listen, the things you do when you're a parent. So I threw on just a cap yesterday. We ran out to Ross. Y'all, I don't even know where we're supposed to be shopping as Black people. Like, are we boycotting or are we not? Like, what are we doing? What are we doing as a Black people? And let me say this. We have not been here in a long time as Black folks. So, like, folks, we don't know how to boycott. Don't know what a boycott is. Don't know how to boycott. But we are learning. And hopefully some of our fierce leaders that have been in this thing will direct us and guide us to be able to get some really effective results. We went to Ross because I'm like, I was asking the girls, I was like, where do we go? TJ Maxx is on the bad list. I'm like, not TJ Maxx, no. TJ Maxx, Marshalls, and Home Goods. I guess they're all out. I don't know. Have you guys heard? Let me know in the comments down below. So we went to Ross because I was like, don't look up Ross. We're going to just go to Ross because I feel like when you know better, you do better. If you don't know, you can just go. So we went to Ross, and mind you, we're trying to be mindful of spending as well. So my daughter found a cute little dress for $9.99. I was like, okay. Then my youngest daughter, who loves to shop, okay, had a whole buggy of stuff. And I'm looking at her like, what? So she found some stuff. I did find a cashmere, 100% cashmere, y'all, gray knit for $4.99. Look at this. $4.99, and it had been $59.99, guys. Can y'all see the tag on that? It had been $59.99 and it was $4.99. But and I need to look up the brand. I love getting stuff and like looking up the brand, and I'm like, oh my God, that's a brand I had never heard of. But nice cashmere gray sweater. And I know I told you guys that we're going on like this no buy 2025. I need to get like, what are the parameters? Like, I need to ask my husband, like, what's the vision again? We're not supposed to buy nothing, even if it's $4.99 and it's cashmere. But anyway, and my husband is not, just for those of you who are new here, my husband is like not somebody who rules with an iron fist in terms of finances. I know some husbands do. However, I'm actually happy that he's like saying, let's pull back, because I need somebody to rein me in, pull me back. Okay. So I need to just talk with him probably later today or this weekend and just find out like, okay, what is the direction? Because to be honest with you, here lately, We have, since Christmas, we have not been spending. We've just not. And if the girls hadn't have needed dresses, I would not have been at Ross. I have not been at Ross. I have not been at TJ Maxx. We have not been spending. We have been going to Whole Foods. That is my luxury shopping at this point. Okay. Because Whole Foods will take your whole paycheck. So I have been at Whole Foods, and it's like a field trip to me. I have a ball in Whole Foods, discovering new products and all the things, and using my Yuka app. I can stay in Whole Foods for 2 hours. It's a sweet treat for me. So, other than buying like the necessities, like I think I bought, I bought bras. I did buy bras after the holiday, and undergarments, but just things that are definitely necessity. That's it. I haven't been shopping, and it's actually felt really good, because I am a shopaholic, and I'll shop and then return a buttload of stuff after I look at it and I'm like, did I need that? And it just gets to be this cycle that's kind of exhausting. So it's been nice to pull back from shopping. So we think Ross is safe for the blacks to shop at. Let me just share this with you guys in terms of this boycott. Because I know somebody had mentioned Tabitha Brown, and did I see her response? And at the time that I filmed last week's vlog, I thought about Tabitha Brown, but I don't think at the time she had made a public, response in terms of the DEI being dropped at Target, which she is heavily involved with Target in terms of her partnerships, and Walmart and Amazon, I believe. So this is how I feel about Tabitha Brown and her cry out for continued support from the black community. There's so many people attacking her and feeling like, oh, she made this all about her. I don't think she made it all about her. I really did hear her cry out. And I think it was just like wow, I have worked my behind off to be seen, to be included, and to get where I am. And at the stroke of a pen, it's gone. Or it could be gone. And I heard her, talk about the upcoming black women or businesses that were just getting their foot in the door at Target, and how their contracts potentially have just started. And here they are starting off from day one in Target, and we black people like, we out. we ain't got nothing on your business. I heard that cry. But then I have to disagree with her saying, boycott Target, but do go and buy the black brands that are sold through Target. I'm like, Tabitha, that's not a boycott. I don't know. I've never boycotted. I mean, I thought we had come so far as a people. I never thought I'd see this day. But can you imagine when Rosa and when they did the boycotts for the buses, can you imagine the one person with the bad leg say, I can't walk to work, I'm going to have to ride. And everybody's like, okay, you could be the one black to ride the bus. No, a boycott is a boycott. Like, we all together, we have to collectively come together and say no. Now, here is what I think some leader in the black community that has a mega platform should propose. I think we need to be very strategic with this boycott, because I fear that black people are going to get tired if we don't see any results. And you're going to have those blacks that are still spending their money there if there aren't any clear direction. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I have hair products that I buy from Target. I have toilet paper that I have certain items that I buy from Target that I don't think I can get at Costco. They also sell them at Walmart, but Walmart's on the naughty list too. So I right now am reordering some things that I know that I can only get at Target until I can find out where else to go. I am very brand specific because we have allergies in this house. We have skin issues in this house. So the solution for me cannot be just go to Costco. I know Al Sharpton was like, everybody go to Costco. Costco for me is like just a hodgepodge of stuff. Now you're going to get what you need ish, but we have very specific dietary needs and restrictions. I just can't go to Costco for everything. And if Whole Foods gives up DEI, we're going to be up the creek without a paddle. I'm going to have to shop at Whole Foods. Like, that is where we get a lot of our things that we just have to have for dietary needs. I think it would be very fruitful if we said, for the whole month of February, we're not shopping at Target. Don't be online shopping at Target. Don't go into their stores. Withhold the black dollar for 28 days to show them our spending power. And along with that, some leader within the Black community needs to be in direct contact with the powers that be at Target and say, this is what we want. But people are going to shop Target if there is not a clear strategy for, why we're boycotting, what we want, what our demands are. So I'm hoping and praying that will be laid out for us as a Black people so that we'll all be on one accord with that. Let me just say this, and then we're gonna really try to focus on being mindful of taking care of our bodies. I woke up this morning with like the worst chest pain. I'm not so much concerned about heart attack or stroke because I honestly have had this pain for almost a full week now. It comes and goes, and it gets, kind of bad at certain moments, and then it eases back at certain moments. So my husband thinks it's more anxiety driven than anything, but he's also concerned because he said being in an overly anxious state for too long can result in heart attack or stroke. So he was just like wanting me to take it easy, which is why I'm just kind of resting today. I've got my warm drink that's probably not warm anymore because I decided to turn on the camera and yap with you guys this morning. But I did want to address this. You guys know I'm such an empath, and I'm a feelings person, which is, I feel like, to my detriment in a lot of cases, but I am who I am. And if I could change tomorrow, I would, but I'm who I am, and God made me uniquely me for a reason. And I know that at some point he is going to reveal to me why he made me so emotional. So I don't beat up on myself as much as I used to for being so emotional. I remember growing up, my mama used to always tell me, like, don't wear your feelings on your sleeves. She used to always give me this analogy of like letting things roll off of my back, like how the rain pellets hit a duck and they bead off of the duck's feathers. They just roll off. Like, let that be, the way you deal with, interacting and engaging with people. If they say something hurtful, like, let it roll off of your back. You got to learn how to have thick skin. And for years I would beat myself up because I really tried to have thick skin, and it ain't thick. It can look thick. Because I am a Black woman, I will put the thick skin act on, but underneath, I'm like, what? Did you mean to hurt my feelings? Because that was real shady. Like, that's really how I'm taking things in. But I can put on the tough girl act, but underneath, this Black girl ain't tough. I am very much so a feelings person. I'm always operating in the vein of wondering how my actions will affect others. Okay. Now I do get in my feelings sometimes. And if you've hurt me, I may hurt you back. Okay. Not intentionally, but it's just like a knee-jerk reaction type of thing. When you've had enough, you've had enough. Or when you feel like you've been misunderstood or not heard, sometimes the flesh will come out, okay, boom, 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 hit you with a 1-2. But for the most part, I really do try to be a good person and to try to be kind and considerate and think about how my words, my actions, and the things that I do affect people. I've learned to set boundaries because I am so emotional, so that people that I feel like are repeat offenders can't continue to hurt my feelings. That's just me. You may say that's a great thing. You may say, Reed, you got to learn how to be a big girl. I'm working on it. Okay. But I said all that to say since I've been posting about just politics, and every time I preface it with, I'm so sorry, I don't mean to post about politics. because I know that can be so offensive. And so, a lot of content creators and influencers are not doing that because it gets in the way of business and it gets in the way of brands wanting to, do partnerships with you, et cetera, et cetera. But I don't know how not to mention certain things when politics has become not so much a political thing totally, but it has become really a issue with civil rights. It has become an issue of almost rich versus the poor. That stunt that the Trump administration just recently pulled with withholding federal aid, number one, is illegal. Okay, Congress controls how we spend. Okay, they hold the pocketbook. Okay, those are our tax dollars. One, and to tell people and cut off their access to Medicare, I think Medicaid, federal aid, that affects so many people. That affects healthcare, childcare. But these people voted for Trump to make America great again, and this is what he's doing. Now, whether it was done intentionally or not, it was done. My thing is, this man cannot even roll out his initiatives with a clear vision. And the biggest thing that strikes me is that you should not want to incite panic and alarm. So even this whole immigrant deportation thing, set some clear expectations so that people know what is to come. The American people should not be afraid to go to work. And I mean American people, like people that have gained lawful citizenship here, that are afraid to go to work. My daughter, I shared this with you guys in the last vlog. She has a very diverse friend group. Many of her friends are immigrants. Some of them are scared to go into their communities. They go to school, they come home. Their parents are afraid to go to work. That is so jacked up. As the leader of this country, that you would have people in fear, people that some of those people voted for him and thought that because they were legal, right? They had their papers as immigrants, that they were safe. Now you have immigrants that are allegedly being caught up in this deportation, in these raids, that actually have their paperwork. And now they're trying to take away birthright citizenship, which, again, I do believe is illegal. But we have a president who has both. He controls everybody. The Supreme Court, he's got, everybody's bound down to him. But the stuff that he's doing is not constitutional. But we're not going to even get into the Constitution and how I feel about that. But anyway, I said all that to say, I'm gonna try to take a woosah. And my husband, I asked my husband, I said, am I wrong for bringing up my political views and opinions? He was like, I don't think your political views and opinions are really political. I think you're concerned about the civil and human rights of all people. He said, if you look at it, the things that you are addressing are civil rights issues. Everybody should be concerned about that, no matter what their political affiliation is. And I was like, you're right. I said, you're right. I did not even care about politics or mention it until it became an issue of rich versus poor, black versus white. And be not fooled. Trump is definitely not for everybody. He is not trying to make America great again. I believe he's trying to make America predominantly white again, where white people reign superior men over women. Okay. So I had a subscriber who's been in our community for a long time, and it really soured my day when there was a comment left on a previous vlog. And I'll just read it to you, and we'll just kind of chop through it. She says, I was wondering why I was feeling some kind of way that Trump didn't move the inauguration. I felt like since he knows how racial tensions are and have been in the recent years, I felt like it would have been a kind gesture for him to move inauguration and let MLK Day be a day that everybody, honored and respected on its own. I felt like he's made so many other orders and done so many other things that he could have done that, and people would have received that very well. If he were looking for a score in the Black community, that would have been a big one. And not having Snoop Dogg and Nelly and whoever else performing at the inauguration, that was not a win for the Black community. Okay, I'm not going to even get into that. But a real win would have been respecting Martin Luther King's day and letting that be his day all to itself. Now, I do believe, and I said in the vlog, correct me if I'm wrong, I do believe that there have been some inaugurations that have fallen on MLK Day, but it's a very rare occasion, I do believe. So I had this follower in our community, very sweet follower too. I'm not going to take away the fact that I really think that she's a sweet person. That's the difference, I believe, between the Trump followers and the people that voted for Kamala. We're not going to just completely write you off because you voted for Trump. We're not going to demonize you or make you some bad person because you voted for Trump. We're going to agree to disagree. We're going to still wish you well. But we're not going to anyway. She responded and said, January 20th has always been Inauguration Day. It is nothing against MLK. It's been that date since the 1930s. And I guess she's asking a question, but then it sounds like she's very emphatic in saying that it's always been on MLK Day. I don't think Inauguration Day has always been on MLK Day. And once again, I can be wrong. She put, I've always loved your channel, but the politics are not why I followed you. I voted for Trump after the last 4 years were a disaster. I come from a military family and we all voted for a change. Harris had nothing to offer, as she said there was nothing she didn't agree with, ? I'm white but have a mixed family. We all voted the same and did so, and so did the majority. Best of luck. Okay, let's unpack this. The very top. I've always loved your channel, but politics is not why I followed you. I don't talk about politics 24/7. It might be kind of heavy right now, and you can just tap out of the video. She put, I voted for Trump after the last 4 years were a disaster. I do agree that people that were not rich, people that were struggling financially, all of the things felt everybody was talking about the economy has done the best that it's ever done. Like people that didn't have their money all the way together, they did not feel that. And I do understand that. I come from a military home or military family and we all voted for change. It's strange to me that military or veterans would even vote for Trump after he literally on tape called them suckers and losers. It's like you are not believing the things that are before your eyes. That is always the case with the Trump supporters. I'm not saying that Kamala was the perfect candidate. I'm just saying I felt like she was the best person for the job. Did I agree with funding a war? Did I agree with a lot of it? Do I agree with toxic ingredients in our food? No administration has gotten on top of that. Okay? Politicians will tell you what they need to tell you to get in office. And most of them do not deliver on their promises. Why? I don't know. I do believe that Kamala would have been the best for the job in terms of unity, in terms of addressing certain things. I believe she would have surrounded herself with knowledgeable people. That's a whole host of, let me not go there. But anyway, she said Harris had nothing to offer, as she said there was nothing she didn't agree with. One thing I will say too, Harris had nothing to offer. So you were gonna did you not remember Harris saying for brand new homeowners people, because nobody apparently in America can afford a house anymore. Did you not hear her talking about the amount of money she was going to give to brand new first time homeowners, which my sister-in-law would have benefited from? One of my best friends is still seeking to be a homeowner. Like, I had a lot of people in my personal circle that were excited about that benefit. She was also going to give some credit to, I think if you're like a child tax credit, you were going to get money for each child in your house under a certain age. There were a lot of things that I felt like she was trying to offer. So to say she had nothing to offer, she had a lot of positive things. Now, if you wanted somebody to come in and be mean and be a dictator and have people operating out of chaos and fear, she didn't have that to offer. Let's talk about the things that Trump is offering and said he was going to offer. To get all the immigrants out. No type of clear strategy, which is why you see a lot of chaos right now. People are afraid to go to work and school. President's job is to ensure that people are not panicking and in a state of constant chaos, which Trump loves. He could have rolled out his initiative a little differently. He could have taken time after getting sworn in as the president to meet, to have some clear orders, and to communicate with the American people from the Oval Office, maybe, here's what you can expect during the first 100 days. We will first begin with the immigration policy. We're going to do X, Y, and Z. So, and even something, I mean, he may just need to say, hey, have a small little copy of your maybe birth certificate with you at all times. I mean, just give the American people some clear directives on how to move about without feeling like their lives are in jeopardy or they're in fear of being deported. There have been American citizens, mind you, that have been caught up in these raids that have every right to be here. He is trying to take away birthright citizenship, which is unconstitutional. He is freezing federal aid, which will affect your ability to get funds and health care and child care. I think he has rescinded that freeze, but he tried and he gonna keep trying. He's gonna keep trying because he wants to be a dictator. Like, that's the change you wanted in America? Because you were so concerned about your eggs and your milk. And last I checked, the eggs and the bread and the milk, they still the same price. He didn't make that his day one priority to bring down the groceries. He thought that was real cute during his, little campaign spree. Groceries. Oh, you guys are concerned about groceries. I'm going to lower the prices. They're not going to get lowered. They're not. But he is going to dehumanize every immigrant, and you're criminals, and you're going to be stripped from your family. Like, that's what you wanted? That's the change you voted for? Like, this is your guy? Come on. And then lastly, this is what really threw me off. And I'm going to say this really, really loudly to all the women in this community that are not Black. Please do not tell a Black woman how she should feel, how she should perceive the things and all of the happenings in terms of her Blackness. I'm white, but have a mixed family. That's almost like her feeling entitled to let me know how I should or should not be feeling, or what I should or should not say, because I come from a mixed family. I am a Black woman who has to now reprogram my children to understand that being the best and the brightest may not land them a seat at the table, even if they are due that seat. That's what we grew up thinking. That's what I've taught my children. You can be anything in the world you want to be. Look at Kamala. She's on her way to be the president of the United States, the first Black female president. And then she said, oh, this is what got me. And you guys have to let me know how you feel about this in the comments down below. She said, where is it? Wait, I'm trying to find it. Am I overlooking it? Oh, I'm white, but have a mixed family. We all voted the same, and so did the majority. I don't know about y'all, but the day after the election, y'all probably woke up. I actually had a hard time going to bed when the results came in that night. Because the first thing I looked at my husband and said was, they cheated. There's no way he won. There's no way he swept those states like that. Now, a lot of Democrats and a lot of people held off from that accusation because we didn't want to be seen as election deniers, okay? The difference between us and them is we're not going to go storm the Capitol and be acting like fools, okay? But I thought he cheated. Now, lo and behold, there, and I'll link the video down below and I'll put the thumbnail up. I want you to go and watch Roland Martin's video where he interviewed, what was this guy's name? I'm gonna pull it up. Hold on.
If you have clawed through...
Oh, there's an investigative reporter named Greg Plast states that widespread purging of voters of color along with the mass disqualification of provisional and mail-in ballots contributed to the Democratic loss. I want you to go and watch this particular segment that Roland Martin had, and I'll link it down below again. This is going to make your blood boil. It is. It is. I'll show you some little snippets of it now, but I do want you to go and watch it on Roland Martin's channel. Give him a thumbs up. I don't know if you guys subscribe to his channel. I love Roland Martin, but I have to take him in small doses because I be so worked up after I watch his stuff. Because everything is just like, oh my God, are we really doing this to Black people? Are we really trying to go back? So I'm learning to just kind of take him in small doses. But I was blown out of the water. I thought Elon Musk just tweaked the algorithm so that it fed so much misinformation since he bought Twitter, right? And that was another form of cheating too. Like even this subscriber of mine to say Harris didn't have any plan. Well, that's because you're in an echo chamber hearing nothing but bad things and mistruths about Kamala. So you're believing what you're hearing instead of going to her rallies or going to her websites and actually reading for yourself. Reading is fundamental. Reading for yourself what her plan is versus wanting to get all the immigrants out, lowering your eggs, and making America white again. Like, that's not a good plan. And the concepts of a plan for your health care. And they eating cats and dogs, so we got to get them out. Like, come on. That's your guy. That's who you voted for. But let me put this up real quickly because I want you guys to hear these little, I'm going to just put some little snippets in because I don't know if I can play the whole thing for you guys due to just like copyright laws. But I want you to definitely go to Roland's channel. I'll try my best to link it down below. But if not, just refer back to the thumbnail and type in, you know, the caption from the thumbnail and watch it. You may need a glass of wine afterwards, and you guys know I don't drink or smoke or anything. I got to figure out how to not stress, but this is going to blow you out of the water.
Examining why did Vice President Kamala Harris lose to Donald Trump the 2024 presidential election? There are a variety of reasons. The Democrats stay at home. They weren't interested in voting for her over the issue with Gaza. It was the price of eggs and groceries. But investigative journalist Greg Palast, he says, no, voter suppression is the reason. And the fact of the matter is she could have easily won if it wasn't for that. He joins us right now. Greg, welcome back to the show. Walk us through what your research has determined.
Okay, it's real simple. In fact, if you go to gregpalast.com, you can get all the numbers so you don't have to keep your calculator and a pen next to you while I tell you what's going on. For those who, by the way, don't know me, Greg Palast, I'm an investigative reporter. I'm especially I'm known as a data journalist. I got the Global Editors Award for that. That means I'm a detective with a pen, and I used to work for the U.S. Justice Department and Attorneys General. My degree is in forensic economics. Why am I telling you all these things? Because I'm going to give you a lot of numbers, and you better believe them instead of the junk you're hearing from mainstream press. Here's what happened to Kamala Harris. Here's what happened to our democracy. What happened was that vote suppression won this election. Trump would have lost except for massive vote suppression. And what I mean by vote suppression, that's a very polite term for shafting black people out of their votes and other people of color, including a lot of young people whose votes are blue. Now, here's the calculation, and I'm very good at this stuff. I've been doing it for the NAACP, ACLU, Black Voters Matter, and the Reverend Jesse Jackson for years, this type of technical analysis which I take into courtrooms. Here's the number. If it wasn't for vote suppression, Kamala Harris would have had 3,565,000 more votes. 3,565,000 more votes, which would have given her a plurality of 1.2 million in the popular vote over Trump. Even more important, if not for Jim Crow trickery, which reached it's not new to this election, but it reached new heights in this election, Roland. Kamala Harris would have easily won Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Georgia for a total of 286 electoral votes, and she would be president of the United States right now. And here's how it breaks down, Roland. And this number is from the United States Elections Assistance Commission, an agency you've probably never heard of, but their job is to keep track of the votes in America. They track it, but they also do something else. They keep track of the non-votes in America. We are a nation that America's nasty little secret, Roland, is that we don't let everyone vote, in particular voters of color. In 23, leading up to the 24 election, states purged 4,776,706 voters from the voter rolls. 4.8 million, almost 5 million voters were simply erased off the voter rolls. I looked at elections in Venezuela, Liberia, Mexico, Switzerland, China, you name it. They don't purge people off voter rolls the way we do, this purge business. Now, who's getting purged of those 5 million voters? Well, I took a deep dive into the purge of, a couple years ago, 300,000 voters in Georgia. I did this for the ACLU and Black Voters Matter, NAACP, and I uncovered that 198,000 voters in Georgia who were removed because supposedly they moved from their Georgia voting address. Not one of them moved. Now, I'm not guessing. I hired the experts who work with Amazon who know exactly where you live. There's a lot of Roland Martins in America, but you don't get someone else's tidy-whities, do you? Because Amazon knows exactly where you live, and I got a special contract with the U.S. Postal Service to hunt down people. We're not guessing. We went name by name by name, 198,000 voters who they said had moved out of Georgia, and there they were at their homes. Now, who were they? We called 800 of them, which is a very big statistical sample. Almost all of them were African-American voters in Georgia. That's who gets purged. In Wisconsin, and if it weren't for those purges, Kamala Harris would have taken Georgia. and other challenges to black voters. In Wisconsin, Roland, there was a purge of over 150,000 voters. Again, I went name by name by name through that list for Black Voters Matter. Literally with computers, we went through every single name. Tens of thousands of people accused of voting from an illegal address, and they were purged from the voter rolls before this election. Now, I actually mapped this with the Washington Post, and we found out that almost every single wrongly removed, purged voter not allowed to vote was an African American in Milwaukee. That was most of the list. And then some of the list were students at the University of Wisconsin, Madison, well-known left-wing school. Those are not Trump voters. So it's young voters and black voters. There was a complete match between the number of voters who were purged wrongly and black precincts in Milwaukee. That's just the beginning. That's the purges. 2.1 mail-in ballots, Roland. Let me repeat this. 2.1 million mail-in ballots were rejected. People don't realize, according to NPR, 13.8%, that's about 1 in 7 mail-in ballots is thrown in the garbage. Let me repeat that. You mail in your ballot. It's very easy for them to... If you watch my film Vigilantes, Inc., which, by the way, Jamie Foxx and Leonardo DiCaprio have made this film available to stream for free. If you go to gregpalast.com, and you will see me in an Atlanta voting station, where, and I'll tell you about the man you're seeing right there, Major General Gamaliel Turner. Now, Gamaliel Turner, this man who was 70 years old, the Pentagon's expert on warfare of the future, and if you can see on your screen, he is definitely African American. He was assigned by the President of the United States to go from Fort Benning, Georgia, to a base in California. And he didn't get his vote. His mail-in ballot didn't come, and he calls up Georgia. He says, "What happened?" They said, "Well, Major Turner, you've been challenged." He says, "What does that mean?" He says, "Someone challenged your vote, and so you can't get your ballot." He says, "Well, what do I do?" He says, "Well, just come on in and show you're a citizen and that you live in Georgia." And he says, "Wait, I'm a soldier. I'm 2,700 miles away, and 2 days before the election, you want me to come just come in?" Now, you have to understand, one person challenged 4,000 people out of the Fort Benning area, almost all of them African-American soldiers. This was not a government official. This was a Republican Party official, the chairman of the Republican Party in southern Georgia. His name is Alton Russell. He even dresses like a vigilante. You'll see him in the film with a 6-gun. He thinks he's Doc Holliday. This guy challenged 4,000 voters. Now, I got to tell you, Major Turner actually flew to Georgia. He flew 5,000 miles to go to federal court to get his ballot, one ballot counted. 4,000 others, again, mostly black soldiers out of Fort Benning, did not get their ballots. And you saw on the screen, you had one woman that I confront in the film. She works for Marjorie Taylor Greene, a white Republican. And I'm telling you, there were 88 challengers 2 years ago in Georgia, or 4 years ago, and all of them are white Republicans. They're not government officials. I'm not being racist about it. That's what they were. One single woman challenged 32,000 voters. And I showed her the pictures of her black neighbors. I said, "Do you know who these people are?" "No." "You don't know who these people are, but you challenge their right to vote?" So they were challenging soldiers. They're challenging students. They're challenging just all their black neighbors by the thousands. And in fact, are you ready for this? By August, 3 months before the election, the Trump front group, True the Vote, proudly announced that it had already challenged 317,886 voters. That's a third of a million voters in swing states, Roland. A third of a million voters, overwhelmingly voters of color. And this is something that hasn't been done since 1946. This is the Ku Klux Klan plan of 1946, these mass challenges of black voters.
So yeah, doesn't that make your blood all the way boil? Doesn't that make your blood all the way boil? The fact that there was a veteran or a soldier who was notified that like, your vote's been challenged. You guys, I said I was gonna rest, but I just realized it is late pickup day for our youngest baby. So I have to get her from dance studio today. And my husband actually has to go and pick up our oldest daughter from track. So I actually am gonna have to go ahead and get this hair done so that I can get out of here in about 2 hours. We had to get a makeshift fridge because I was tired of running to the garage. So I've got to live with this for a little while. And, and it is such an eyesore. But I'm going to go ahead and finish up my hair. My hair smells so good. I love how it smells right after I shampoo it. I don't even know. Oh, let's talk about all of the black brands. I'm going to flash them on the screen. All of the black brands that are at Target, and you guys will have to let me know what are your favorite black brands or black businesses to shop. I forget about Carol's Daughter. Like, I've not seen Carol's Daughter anywhere other than Target. Are they at Walmart? They're probably at Walmart, but I have been doing Carol's Daughter shampoo since the beginning of time. Like Carol's Daughter, you guys know I am really big on clean products. Carol's Daughter has always come through in terms of clean products. I have not seen one Carol's Daughter product that has had toxic ingredients. So I will flash all of the black owned businesses again on the screen that are at Target, and you guys will have to let me know what is your game plan. Like I said, I'm still waiting on some type of update from within the black community from somebody to kind of like let us know where we go in terms of this boycott. I hope that they will announce it soon because we really do need to be on one accord with this boycott. I know Al Sharpton bought like 100 plus memberships, I believe, to Costco within the black community, I think in Harlem. But that's that's not gonna cut it. Like we need to know, like, what are we supposed to do in terms of the boycott? Is it supposed to be indefinitely, like forever? And is that sustainable? I don't think it is. You guys will have to let me know how you feel in the comments, but I mean, we gotta be on one accord so that we can, really make the most of these efforts and not be considered a laughing stock. Like, I'm really concerned about that. Like, I really do. And it doesn't need to just be black people boycotting. This should just not be a black and white thing. It should be everybody fighting for diversity, equity, and inclusion. And even though DEI was named as such, from what I'm seeing and hearing, the equity part, the diversity part, the inclusion part, I mean, people were still discriminated against. So let's just be clear about that. But at least it was something in place to, make people feel like we were trying everybody was at least trying to be on one accord with, the equity and inclusion of all. But now, who would even get rid of DEI? Like, how does that even sound right? That sounds like that literally sounds like we're going to just reverse this because we do actually agree with discrimination. We do agree with, like, why would you get rid of diversity, equity, and inclusion? And even their claim that it is, I'm at a loss for words. Like, we got to do better. We got to do better. And it's funny because I keep hearing people say stuff like, "Oh, America, we're better than that. We're better than this." At this point, I'm like, no, I think this is America. I think this is who we have become. I really, really do. Like, I don't know that, because if we were better than that, we could have proved ourselves within this election. Well, aside from the voter suppression and all of the lies and Elon buying, the algorithm and putting a lot of misinformation out there. I mean, maybe there should be some rules in place that super duper rich people can't buy an election. That'd be good. But I think this is what America is now. I really think this is what America is. And I will be honest with you, I don't feel like all MAGA Republicans are cut from the same cloth. I do believe that there are some MAGA Republicans that have a good heart, and are, just were concerned about the rich continuing to get rich, but they just could not see past Donald Trump's lies. He don't care about y'all. He don't care about us. So I do believe that, from an economic standpoint, a lot of MAGA Republicans, felt like they were just tired of always, being left out. But, I don't want to take the mind frame that a lot of people are doing where they're talking about, you effed around and now you're about to find out. But it looks like we're kind of teetering down that road. I've seen a lot of, unfortunately, posts where Hispanics and immigrants voted for Trump, and now they're regretting their votes already. So, unfortunately, we are where we are, but we do need to figure out how to not be in the same boat by 2028. Now that we know that rich people can buy elections, we got to figure out how to avoid voter suppression and throwing away the ballots of, black people and not counting their votes. We got to figure out how not to be back in that same boat, because this is absolutely ridiculous. Our oldest daughter will be able to vote in 2028. And I want her to know that when she goes to vote, that her black vote and her voice counts. I really want her to know that and feel like that. There's so many black people that sat out, I do believe, because we felt like our votes don't count. But don't get it twisted. Black people in America did their job. What are the stats? 92% of black women voted for Kamala. I'm looking it up because one thing that they will try to tell you is that, or they tried to make us feel like the black male vote was going to Trump. Like, blacks were not voting for Kamala, and that was not the case. It says 92% of black women voted for Kamala, and 78% of black men voted for Kamala. That's a lot. Black people did their job. Okay. And you know what? I found a really nice, I'm going to read it to you guys. A letter, to black women. It was written by, I'm not going to mispronounce his name, but I'll put it up here for you guys. Somebody named Mr. Anderson, we'll just say. It says a letter to the 92% of black women. It said, "Dear black women, thank you. Thank you for all that you have done and all that you continue to do, often without recognition and honor you deserve. You have carried a political party on your backs through some of the most challenging presidential elections in American history. Your unwavering commitment and your resilience have kept this nation moving forward, even when it hasn't reciprocated the love, loyalty, or respect you've poured into it. I know you're feeling the weight of this moment, the ache of seeing America once again miss the chance to fully recognize the brilliance of a black woman, of Kamala Harris in the White House. But I want you to know that I, along with countless black men, see you. We see the strength in your struggle, the sacrifices you make, and the grace with which you carry the burdens of our community. If you need to take a moment to breathe, to step back, to rest, know that we are here to pick up the load. We are committed to standing beside you and honoring your efforts in every way that we can. Throughout history, Black women have been the backbone of change, pushing forward despite a world that often tried to silence or minimize you. You have shown us what it means to lead with courage, integrity, even in the face of insurmountable odds. Kamala Harris's journey was and remains a beacon of hope for Black women and girls who dare to dream, who dare to break through ceilings once thought unbreakable. She showed that the White House is not out of reach for us, that the highest offices in the land are places where our voices, our intelligence, and our perspectives are not just welcome, but needed. Time and time again, you have fought to expand democracy, pushed for equal rights, and challenged systems that were never meant to protect you. Your courage, rooted in the strength of our ancestors, has held this country accountable. But as we consider where we stand today, we must also acknowledge that Black women who have been failed, not only by those who perpetuate the system of oppression, but also by those who share similar stories of struggle and those who have claimed to be allies. For too long, Black women have been the backbone of this country's progress. But often, when the time comes to honor their leadership and provide them with the platforms they deserve, those who have benefited from their sacrifices turn away. It is no longer enough to ask Black women to carry us through. We must demand accountability from those who seek our support but fail to deliver it in return. As we look forward and ask, where do we go from here? We must hold those individuals accountable. We refuse to continue being the stepping stone for everyone else, used, lied to, and discarded when our labor is no longer convenient. Our community deserves better. Black women deserve better. Those who seek our votes, who ask for our support, who depend on our commitment to justice and progress, must also stand by us, fight for us, and honor us when it matters most. One of the things that is on my wish list is a water pick. I had one back in the day and actually held on to it, and it doesn't work anymore. So I want to get one, but the water picks, if you guys have noticed, they have really upgraded like the design of them. Mine was like the old school one that was like big and you had to fill the water tank. Now they have them as small as like an electric toothbrush where you just fill it with water. And the reason that I want one is because I am so nervous with just using traditional floss now, because my dental hygienist was x-raying my teeth. As I was telling her, I was having issues with floss on this side where I have a crown, and she showed me the way the crown is sitting in there. And the way it's designed, it's kind of got like a little hook on there. I don't know if that was a faulty design or what, but it's the way that it's in there. So if I don't floss at a certain angle and put the floss at a, I think she said to go up against the back of the tooth number 2 to keep the floss from hooking on the crown that's up under there, and put, because I had an issue. You guys know I had an issue when I first got Invisalign, to where I took the bottom trays out and my crown popped out with the whole tray. I was freaking out. So now I'm just nervous about flossing because I don't want to floss and pop that crown out. So I do use traditional floss. I do love it. I have been totally obsessed with flossing and all of the things since I've gotten Invisalign. That, I will say this, Invisalign has taken my dental hygiene to like OCD. Like I am brushing, flossing, and that's not a bad thing, I don't think. But I found these, if you don't like flossing, this was the kind of expensive floss that I got. You guys remember from Sprouts, and it scanned well on the UGAP. I don't know what flosses are traditionally made of, but I found these at Walmart. They on the naughty list. But I found these at Walmart, and this is the fine one. And they also have one that is a little thicker. It's the pink one. But I prefer the finer one. Look at the design of that. It's got, can you all see that? Yeah. It has these little like handles. So this makes flossing so easy. I love this floss. I don't know if it's clean because when I scanned it with the Yuka app, I couldn't tell. The neem floss from, I'm trying to see how much I have left in there. You know, when you buy floss, it goes so quickly. But the neem floss scans clean at Sprouts. But the Grin, my Yuka app wasn't able to, it probably ain't good. But I love it. So I have been using this. And look, it's so easy. So I am wanting to just do a water pick so that I can avoid the floss, and it'd be cheaper, right? It'd be cheaper to do a water pick. I wouldn't have to buy floss anymore. You guys have to comment down below and let me know if you have a water pick, and if so, what do you like? Like, tell me, link it. You can't link it, but share with me the brand. Share with me what to go find. I wish y'all could link stuff for me to try. That'd be awesome, because I know some of you guys have some really good picks, and a lot of y'all are into clean beauty and clean products, which I'm always up for trying new clean products. So let me use my mouthwash, which I love the Hello mouthwash. Scans clean on the Yuka app. But my dental hygiene, y'all, that's been the best thing about this Invisalign journey for me. Like, your girl is, you don't have to worry about me having another cavity. Have you heard that? Another? Any more cavities? All right, I'm gonna pop these in. And I feel like my teeth are progressing pretty nicely. It's not painful at all for me. I have had braces before, so I don't know if I'm just like used to it. But then my daughter has never had braces, and she said that her treatment hasn't been painful either. So, okay, enough yapping. I am going to go ahead and cut this hair. Because I need to go and get my daughter in just a little bit. I wanted to say this too. We've been talking a lot about the state of the world and who I believe would have been the better pick. Don't get me wrong. I don't know if I said this or not, but I'm going to repeat it again if I did say it. I don't believe that Kamala was the best. Like, all politicians, I think I did say that. All politicians they say whatever. They can't be trusted, but we got to pick somebody, okay? Somebody's going to run this here United States of America. So the people that are like, I'm just going to sit this out. One, we've had too many of our ancestors to fight their whole entire lives just to have the right to vote. So sitting an election out is not something that I will do. But then also, even as and if you sit out an election, you're just letting other people decide for you who's going to run the world or who's going to run your country. So I just think that's kind of not the best decision. But I really do believe in my heart that the Democrats jacked up. They did. They messed up with messaging. They messed up with a lot of things. But at the end of the day, do I think that Trump was a better candidate? I don't. And at the end of the day, for everybody that argues that, like, oh, you should get over yourself because the majority of the American people chose Trump, I don't think they did. I'm going to hold true to what I believe, and that is that the brother didn't win fair and square. I don't believe he won fair and square. I don't. And more and more probably information will come forward to kind of shed light on that. But at this point, what do? He owns the courts. He owns the Supreme Court. He owns the judges. Like, what are we going to do? Nothing. He is the president. There's going to be no challenging it. I am actually very disappointed in Kamala for not challenging the election. The Democrats are so big on trying to like do what's right and, not be seen as hypocritical. And I'm like, you can still do what's right and not be a hypocrite. And challenge things, like you don't always have to, and it's not even that you're not taking the high road. You're just questioning things that appear to be off or wrong. And I believe within a certain amount of time, they could have questioned the election and the results. They were obviously very taken by the fact that she didn't win, because on the night that she was supposed to come out and make her, speech, she left them people out there in the cold. So I don't think she was expecting to lose at all. So I don't know. I feel some kind of way that the Democrats are always playing the nice guy. I believe it's a way to be nice, have good morals and standards, but also be on their necks if you need to be. And they need somebody on their necks because they are really looking to just bend the rule of law and do what they want to do and see how much they can get away with. And I think we're going to have people in place like AOC and Jasmine Crockett that are going to stand up for democracy and stand up for humanity and equality and rights, which should not be a political thing. Like, human rights is a everybody issue. Like, everybody should care about that. Both parties should care about that. And so, I think we need to figure out how not to be in the same predicament again in 2028. The Democrats messed up on a lot of things. Nobody wanted to fund the war. People were concerned about, not having enough money to put food on their own table. And we're sitting up here funding a war. But I will tell you what, Trump ain't going to help them put food on their table. As a matter of fact, you guys saw with the federal aid scare freeze that it's literally threatening to take away food, take away the few benefits that people do get. So, I don't know. Minimum wage is an issue and has been an issue for a while. Both the Republican and the Democratic candidates for president, our parties have addressed that. So it's like this whole idea that, Trump's going to fix everything is so not true. Trump is going to make himself richer. And right after the election, Elon became the richest man in the world, the wealthiest man in the world. Was he already the wealthiest man? But I mean, like, that should be proof in the pudding that this man is going to do nothing for the average American. He's going to make his friends richer. So, yeah, I think we have a lot to look at and a lot to, consider. Do I wish the president success? Yes, because if he does well, we do well. But do I believe that he is really out for the interests of all Americans? No, I don't. Do I pray that he will find salvation and, turn from his wicked ways? I do. I actually pray for the president. I know that probably seems very hard to believe, but I do. It's the difference between a certain group of Americans and another group of Americans who like to practice HATE. I don't have that in my heart. So I do pray for him. I pray that the Lord will give him direction and lead him. Because the Bible actually asks us to pray for our leaders, whether we agree with them or not. So, yeah. That is my spiel. We're going to move forward. I promise you, no matter how people respond to this video in the comments down below, especially those who are maybe trolls or Trump supporters. And I'm not saying that if you're a Trump supporter, you can't be here and you don't deserve a spot within our community. I welcome you. But what I will say is that you do not get to tell Black women and Black Americans who have been disenfranchised for way too long and who are continuing to live in a society that is promoting anti-Blackness. You do not get to tell us how to feel and what you will or will not listen to. You don't get to tell us that. You can choose not to listen, but just bow out gracefully. Just bow out. You don't have to like announce your exit. It's offensive. Just leave on out. The same way you subscribe quietly or followed someone on social media quietly, you can leave quietly. We're not going to have mean girl energy and tell people like, you know, you don't get to feel the way you want to feel. Black women need to sit in their feelings for as long as they would like to. I'm going to try to move out of my feelings so that it doesn't affect my health. Okay. Oh, and speaking of my health, right after I had lunch, my husband was like, "Are you feeling better? I think you're feeling better." I was like, "I am." And he was like, "I bet you got gas." He was like, "Gas will make you think you're having a heart attack." I was like, "But gas for a week?" He was like, "It can." And I was like, "But I'm pooping and I'm tooting and I'm walking and I'm drinking my water and I'm doing all the things." And he was like, it's still probably gas. The fact that it's coming and going is making him feel like it's gas. So hallelujah, we will accept the gas. We will touch and agree that it's gas and not something wrong with my heart. Because I was getting a little nervous, a little bit. Even though I was like, I know it's not a heart attack, but I was still like, whoa, what's going on? So yeah, I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to finish up my hair. What time is it? And go and get this sweet baby of mine. Oh, yeah, I got to finish up. All right, guys, I will talk with you in the next vlog. And we're going to be all bells and whistles and smiling and peachy. Because we got to get our life together. Like, we cannot let this totally consume us. I mean, take your moment, cry, grieve America, because it's not what we thought it was going to be. And it's not what we grew up knowing it to be. Okay? It's gone. It might come back, but it's for right now. We are where we are. But then we're going to pick ourselves up and we're going to move forward as a community. And yeah, we are going to be okay because we are a resilient people and we know how to bounce back for sure. If we don't know anything else, we know how to survive. Okay. All right, y'all. So change of plans. My husband is actually picking up the girls, plural, both of them, because our oldest daughter actually, her practice got canceled. So because the weather is so gloomy, they were going to be conditioning today. I am so in need of diving deep here in our kitchen. It's a mess. It is a mess. And you guys know how much I love a clean kitchen. Look at this pantry. It's stuff that don't belong where it's at, okay? Like this type of stuff, you guys, I hate boxes just being out. I normally don't do boxes. Just, it's all kind of stuff. Look at this. It's just like, it's a hot mess in here. So I do need to get into the pantry and sort things out. Rest in peace to our refrigerator that is no longer working. Like I shared with you guys earlier today, we have this little makeshift fridge here. It is such an eyesore to this refrigerator, but we're gonna make it do what it do. We do have a fridge in the garage as well, but it was just a hassle running in and out and in and out. So we've just got some little essential things in here like milk, just our every little day things that we're reaching for, eggs, certain little things. It was too much, y'all, running back and forth to the refrigerator. So the refrigerator that I opted to go for, that's what I didn't share with you guys. I opted to go with, I don't even know what I opted to go with. I think it's a Maytag. It's a Maytag, and it is considerably less than what I was going for. I was thinking about going with the cafe line that our stove is. I wanted something to match what we had. That was the one that was $3,000 something. Okay. And I was this close to pulling the trigger on it until I read reviews. I read reviews and I just kept telling my husband, I was like, I don't want to. And he was like, yeah, I don't want you to pay that much for a fridge, knowing that there may be a short lifespan. And that's the thing that I think a lot of just everyday consumers are running into, unless you're getting like a custom piece or something like really, really high end. And you know what? I take that back, because I was looking at some Viking appliances. Not that I was in the market for a Viking appliance, but I saw a Viking appliance, and I just thought to myself, wonder how much they cost, and what's like, are they top tier? The Viking refrigerators had like lots of complaints as well. So I'm just kind of like, splurge if you can, but then also know that your stuff may not last. So anyway, our refrigerator, what the holdup is going to be is the refrigerator that I ordered is apparently on back order. So we won't be receiving it until around Valentine's Day. And then I was going to get it from another company. I was going to get it from Best Buy. And Best Buy actually, that's what happened. I ordered it through Best Buy at first, and Best Buy had a delivery date of February the 27th. Then I got a text message from them saying that it had been pushed back to March the 17th. And I was like, nah, I'm not going to be able to. So we ended up finding it at Home Depot. And it's going to be available for delivery by Valentine's Day. Well, the 15th. So let's cross our fingers that we can get it a little before then, I'm hoping. But Home Depot was on the okay list as far as I know. Lowe's is another place that maybe we're not supposed to be shopping. And y'all, I'm still trying to figure out like what the game plan is with the boycotting. I don't know. But anyway, in the meanwhile, let me show you this kitchen. It is a hot mess. I have stuff everywhere. Oh, let me turn my little lamp on. My little battery charged lamp or rechargeable lamp. I keep it here in the corner. It normally is over here, but since the fridge is here, I had to move it to here. So I'm just going to play team clean up the kitchen, because like it's stuff everywhere, as y'all can see. I don't know what was in here. All of my little coffee mugs, y'all. It has just been a hot mess. This is reality, okay? Life is not perfect around here, and I share that with you guys all the time. This is last night, y'all. I cooked and did not even bother washing the pots from where I made the soup. I don't like for my kids to bother my cast iron pots or my mans. So I'm like, whenever I cook in these, I tell them to just like, let me handle it. So I'm going to go ahead on and get this stuff cleaned up. You guys have to let me know who handles all of the things in terms of cleaning in your house. Do you guys rotate on a nightly basis, or do you do all of the cleaning? I know for me in particular, I like help. I do. I like help, and I've grown to the point to where I'm okay with getting help and knowing that when people offer their help, it might not be to my liking, but I need to be okay with the efforts and the energy that they have put forth. Like, I am very particular about cleaning pots and pans and different things. Like, it's gonna be so squeaky clean. But I've noticed that my family, the girls, they may wash the pot and it may still have grease in it. Okay. And I just have to thank them for their efforts and know that they tried. They did try to help. So yeah, that is that on that. I'm going to go ahead and knock this kitchen out before the kids get home, y'all.
Dream last night. Did everything I never do in real life. I stepped into a room, told everyone to be quiet, cause I had something to say. Blew everybody away with whatever I want. Dressed in a gown, everybody's like, why, where you going? Nowhere special, just going to the store. I think I'd have it all, tell you I have even more. Picking a plate, being a plate, she is unruly. Never seen her like this, didn't think it existed, no truly. Don't get in her way, she's not here to play, she'll get moody. But don't mistake this girl for being me. 'Cause these are dream rules. This is someone else, I'm not myself, no. 'Cause these are dream rules. This is someone else, I'm not myself, no. Living in my dreams all night. Living in my dreams all night. Living in my dreams. Living in my dreams all night. Living in my dreams. Living in my dreams. She can make all the problems disappear. She can tell you the things you want to hear.
As always, guys, thanks so much for watching and being here in community with us. Make your day beautiful. Love you guys, and I will chat with you guys